radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Welcome. See, I just jumped ahead of everything right there. Welcome. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Today is January 9th, 2023, and tonight is our annual, we do this every year, our annual Conscious Life Expo Special event. And tonight we're going to have Serena Wright Tayler with us tonight. We're going to have Kristine, now watch this, Christina Augustyn is going to be with us tonight and throughout the show. And we're also going to have Michael Satva on later, another producer for Conscious Life Expo. And we've got a whole bunch of very, very special surprise guests throughout the show tonight. Now, a little programming note. Right now, as I speak to you, we have got a very, very severe storm, cyclone that has been pummeling the West Coast for the last week. And they are saying that tonight, yesterday, today, and then tomorrow, the second wave is going to come through. It's actually the third, and it's very severe. So we have got flooding. The city of Santa Barbara and Summerlin and Montecito have been evacuated, and that's a little bit north of here. Not very far, though. Actually, it's not very far. And so we're dealing with all of that. And you may hear, I've just been listening to stuff hit the house and the wind and stuff blowing around outside, of course, with the heavy rain. So we're dealing with all of that tonight. And our thoughts are with everybody out there. We've got severe flooding and power outages and just mudslides and a lot of crazy stuff going on out there. So our thoughts are with everybody that is going through the danger right now. Okay, so that is happening right now as I broadcast. And so there you go, a little programming note. Let's get straight to it tonight. We've got a very, very busy show straight ahead. As everybody knows, I have been hosting and emceeing the Conscious Life Expo now for not quite 10 years, almost 10 years. This is 2023, 2014. Yeah, 9 years. It is one of my favorite things to do all year long. It's at the LAX Hilton, and the links for Conscious Life Expo are throughout social media, over on our website, and of course on the comments below. And for you to go and check out tickets information and scheduling and stuff like that. It is one of the largest events in the world. And hundreds of presenters, one of the greatest vendor areas that you will ever see and visit. And it's just a premier event. And we're going to be going through all of that tonight. And so to help me get through this evening tonight, I've got Serena Wright Tayler. And Serena, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Jimmy. It's great to be back.
Yeah, and you look wonderful. You look wonderful. Now you're down. You're at the beach, right?
Yeah, Huntington Beach.
Yeah. What's the weather like down there?
Well, I can hear it's raining and it's very windy today. Well, especially tonight, and all the chimes are chiming. On the hanging on the trees and everything. They're clanging, really. So I don't know what's going on out there.
You know what's weird, and the facts are the facts when we talk about the weather here in Southern California. Pretty much it's uneventful all the time, unless we have an earthquake or something. But the weather slow and steady, man. It just doesn't change, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't rain. Every day's the same as the day before. Oh, it's really cold today. It's 80, and that's what we deal with, and we're used to it. And right now, we're not, we're this is just something that hits us very rarely. And but you guys are safe.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. We got Douglas has got his surfboards, if we if we get some waves out the window.
He probably is surfing. He probably is. Yeah, forget about the mudslides. Surf's up, dude. So there you go. Kristine, how you doing? Oh, wait a minute, Kristine. I got you muted. That's my fault. I am so sorry.
Hi, I'm good, Jimmy. How are you? Good to see you.
How are you?
Doing great.
And
it's raining here too, but it's I'm on the second floor, so I'm okay so far.
Yeah, well, okay. See, you get to avoid the flooding, and yeah, isn't it? And I know, the rest of the country that it deals with snow and extreme cold and stuff, and they're laughing at us right now. But no, right now this is a real deal cyclone, and it is rolling through, and it is really, really bad news. Looking at the pictures of cars, underwater, and homes and cities and towns around California, and trees on how it's not good. And again, our thoughts are with anybody that is having to deal with this right now. It is extreme weather.
Yes.
So, Kristine, before we get started, I just want to ask you this, because we've got a very busy night in front of us. What is it like to have the best hair?
It's pretty great. It does, and it looks like it doesn't take much work, and that's the best part of it.
Oh man, I give Kristine a hard time, but you just have amazing hair. This year, and I'm going to throw this to you first, Kristine. I am throwing this to you first.
Okay, I'm ready.
The lineup and the show every year for Conscious Life Expo, I say, this is the best year ever. This is the best year ever. This is the best year ever. And it's always just elevated its game. This year is no exception. It's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, I keep saying the word that came to mind to me a couple months ago was robust. Like, this year is so robust. We have so many super cool things going on. Like, to me, it's amazing. Like, it feels really full and vibrant and exciting.
There is, as we go through tonight, and we've got so much to do, so I actually want to get straight to it. Out of the special events that are going to be going on, last year, you introduced Susan Slaughter to the Conscious Life Expo crowd. And Susan and I, of course, as you know, she's been a guest on the show many times, and I've worked a lot with her. She is just such a dynamic personality. Last year, she came in and rocked, yes. Right? And she's back again this year, but she's complaining about her workload. So it's because she's amazing. What has she got going on for us this year?
Oh, she's got so much. So she is moderating a really cool divination panel. That's going to be on Friday, and she's got a great lineup of people, and that's going to be really cool because she's really going to delve into different kinds of divination. So I'm really excited about that one. And then she's also doing 3 nights of seances. So she's actually set up in a private suite, and it's like very limited access. Last year she only did a seance one night, and it was so crowded, and people loved it, and the experience that people had in the room, the messages that were coming through, I was just like, people were blown away. So this year, obviously we wanted her to come back, and we kind of decided that, like, everyone loved that so much, and it was just so dynamic that she's going to do 3 nights of seances. So Saturday night, Sunday night, and Monday night. in a private suite.
Yeah, I'm going to be there for one of them.
Oh, yay.
Well, yeah, I would like to be there for all three because,
Right.
I know, I mean, our whole audience, is somebody serving dishes?
Yeah, it's actually Douglas. I'll have to go and tell him.
Man, Douglas, man, is here. I'm just gonna. Oh, there it is, nice and quiet. So,
although I hear the rain is like pouring right now.
It's right now. The wind. It's insane.
Yes,
the rain is coming down here sideways, and it's just pummeling. So, but anyway, enough of that. We'll get through this. The storm is the storm. Is that I know Susan, and the idea of doing something like this is so different, but so cool for Conscious Life Expo to do a seance, right? And then to do 3. Now the normal attendee for Conscious Life, and and everybody knows what I'm saying here. There are certain things that we probably don't do enough of at Conscious Life Expo. We don't do enough Bigfoot. We don't do enough UFO stuff. Maybe we should do some more science. Maybe we should, and things like this, right? Mediumship, a psychic medium, and a seance. This is something new, and I think that the attendees are like, I'm in, right? I am so in. This is really cool.
The thing that I find really important, and as being part of the expo, I'm trying to bring a little bit more into is really experiential things. And the cool thing about the seances is that Susan just doesn't do it all herself. Everybody that's sitting at the table with her is a part of it. So everybody sort of becomes entrained together, the way she handles it, and everyone is doing it. So everyone gets to experience being a part of this, not just watching, her talk about it. It's like you become part of it. So it's really cool.
Yeah. She's such a powerful, when you hang out with her, I have done, ghost investigations, and I've done TV with her and things. When you can feel it. You can feel the energy, and she's pulling it in. And that's the whole idea with the seance, is she's going to have an inner circle, right? And then an outer circle, another ring. I don't know which ring I'm going to be in, but I'm going to be there, man. And that's what you do. You're pulling in from everybody that is participating at the seance. I love that. It's going to be so much fun.
Well, it's going to sell out, Jimmy. So tell me which night you're going to be there so I can book you in.
Oh, did you hear that, Serena? Serena, I got to buy my own ticket to the seance.
Yeah.
I don't have a juice card. People think I have a juice card. Yeah, I did, though. I did tell Susan I'm going to take a look at the schedule and make sure that I get one of those nights worked in. I mean, absolutely 100%. Serena, you've been producing the UFO UAP side of things, experiencers and abductees for Conscious Life Expo now for a very long time. Oh, we just lost Serena. See, Serena's got this powerful mind. And if she looks at something, she shoots lasers out. Lasers come out of her eyeballs. Okay, stop with the lasers, Serena. Stop with the lasers.
Yeah. It keeps going. I don't know.
It's the lasers. It's the lasers. Okay, hands off. Hands on your lap.
Yeah.
Hands on your lap.
Even when I let go, it doesn't.
Okay, let's try this again. Serena, so we've got Linda, who's going to be at Conscious Life Expo.
Yes.
And on your UFO panel, who do you have this year?
Oh, we have Daniel Sheehan is going to be there, and he's going to give a talk the previous day on Saturday, I think about 6 o'clock. Yeah, of course, and he's been representing Lou Elizondo, so he's got a lot of information to talk about. He's going to be on the panel as well, and then Paul Hynek's going to be on, and he's speaking on Saturday morning as well. And Caroline Corey is going to be there as well as Stephen Bassett. And so we have all that happening on Sunday morning first at 10 o'clock. And then at noon, we all go down to the disclosure lunch. And I wanted to let everyone know this is the first time. I always wanted to do this. I wanted to have a lunch with Jimmy Church and many speakers in the UFO field and ancient secrets field, as well as guests. And it's going to be in a small room at the Hilton behind the restaurant. And it's fully catered. And so you can get your tickets at consciouslifeexpo.com, of course. And it's limited seating because this is sitting down, being catered, these wonderful choices of meals, including vegetarian as well. And you could choose ahead of time. And sitting down.
Can I insert a vegan joke right now?
Okay.
Can I do a vegan joke? Can I do a vegan joke? Serena,
go ahead.
No, I'll save it. I'll save it for Saturday. But one of the things that we've got 10 speakers, right?
Yes.
Are going to be joining us.
Yes.
So every table is going to have somebody with them. But one of the things that we're going to do this year, check this out, Kristine, and you're not invited, Kristine. No, you got to buy your own ticket. And I'm just letting you know. But check this out, Kristine. We're going to set up, I'm going to have my own table up on the stage. And I'm going to bring 2 people up from the audience to eat with me up top. Yeah. That's going to be really cool. I mean, the most introverted, right, secluded, bashful, I'm getting 2 of them.
That's awesome.
Right in front, man. Right in front with my loud mouth and a microphone. So where'd you come from?
That's going to be perfect.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Jimmy, can I eat? No. What? And it's going to be awesome. So and to be able to do that, one of the things, and for the tickets for this and everything, everybody just click on the links below and come and hang out with us at this luncheon. It's going to be fantastic because one of the things that I like to do, and for those that have done this with me before, is I like to walk around from table to table with a microphone and meet everybody. Right? I want to meet everybody there. I want everybody to say hello and to ask a question or to tell us why they are there. That's part of the fun. And this luncheon is going to be great. And give me food, give me friends, give me a microphone. Right?
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
I always wanted to do that. And actually, it's small enough that everyone can talk to everyone. It's not a huge room. That's why I'm saying it's limited seating. So you can all hear everybody, even if you're not on one table, you can hear the speaker on the other table, and everyone will go around and chat. So
now there's another thing that I wanted to mention, and later Michael Satva is going to be with us, and so I'm going to bring him in and ask him a few things. But the format also overall has kind of changed, where from the big events now are happening in the big rooms on the second floor.
Yes, the panels are upstairs. So if someone's listening who always comes to Conscious Life Expo, when you're running down to see a panel, don't run down to see the panel. It's not in the plaza. It's actually on the first floor in the LA ballroom, Los Angeles ballroom.
The second floor.
Did I say which?
The mezzanine.
Mezzanine. Just it's different in England. I confuse.
Well, here we call it floor number 2.
Yeah, that's right. Because I thought I said that. Yeah.
Oh man, you're my absolute favorite person in the whole world.
Well, in England we have ground floor, then first floor, then second floor. So.
Okay. Oh, see, that's backwards. And at least you guys aren't on the metric system yet. See, so that's the good thing. And I want everybody to know that out of the entire community, Serena and I are very, very close, and she laughs at my jokes. That's all I got to say. And
Yeah,
that's all I need is to hear Serena's laughter. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is the talent show, which when we started this, now this is like our fifth year. This might be year number 5 for the talent show.
yeah.
Anybody want to take a guess at that? And
I think it's probably fine.
it's turned into one of the premier events of the entire conference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's all you got, Serena?
Yeah. And I don't know who they all are yet in the talent show. It's always incredibly exciting. There's always different kinds of performances, and Jimmy, of course, is hosting it. And before that, we have awards. We always have awards for speakers, and then before that, well, during that time, there's also the book awards, which is a new thing. And Kristine knows all about that, the book awards.
Well, okay, Christina, you got ahead of your skis. We were talking about the talent show.
Oh, yeah, back to the talent show, yeah.
This is my job as host. So let's steer. I'm going to turn the bus back around, throw it in reverse.
Can I say one thing about the talent show?
Yes, I'm going to say something about it too.
Submissions are coming in, is what I want to say. Submissions are coming in. Keep them coming. The ones I've seen so far are amazing. So it's going to be a great show. But we haven't quite finished booking it yet. But
here's the thing about Expo's Got Talent, and this is where I'm not cracking a joke. I'm being very serious. The level of talent that is there is world class. And I remember, the first year we did it, it was kind of like, goofing off, and I got up on stage and I goofed off and things. No, the next year the gloves were off. And the I'm talking about whether it's dancing or playing an instrument or singing or whatever it is, that it is an absolute world. You've got to bring your A game. You cannot. This isn't. You can't be a slouch act, right? You can't come in here because and I'm the host and I'm standing off the side of the stage going, this is like the most amazing thing I've ever heard.
yes,
It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. And it's going on there, and the crowd. Everybody knows now that this is an extreme event, right? This is extreme. It's extreme. Remember? I can't remember his name. The little Mozart kid last year.
Oh yeah, incredibly talented.
What? Right?
Yeah.
And you're sitting there and you're listening to some of the best piano playing that you're ever going to hear. You remember his long flowing locks? You remember that hair, that head of hair that he had? And he just sat and played Mozart. And I'm thinking, this is Conscious Life Expo, right? This isn't some national TV show, which it could have been, but we're doing it right here in the La Jolla room, right? At the LAX Hilton. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that. So if you are interested in participating, if you're world class, you're going to bring your A game, submit. And we are taking submissions right now. And we can't get everybody in, only the best of the best. What we do last year, I think we did 10 acts. I think it was 10.
yeah, about 10 is probably what it'll be this year as well.
Yeah. So if you think you've got what it takes, we would love for you to submit, and you can do all of that on the links below. Now, the other thing that goes on right before that is the award ceremony. Again, a keynote event for the Conscious Life Expo, and we'll be doing that again this year too as well. I don't know. Every year it's a big surprise. Do you guys have any inside track on?
Well, I know some things, but it's a surprise even for the speakers, you know. So we don't want to say anything.
Well, this is what I heard. All right. So, and Q and I talked about this. He said, Jimmy, what about a best hair award? I said, that's a great idea. I said, no, for me, Kristine, for me.
Yeah, I understand. It's always you.
Kristine thought I was talking about her. I was like, no. Okay. So this best author, best book.
Yes. Can I talk about that?
Yes.
So for the first time ever, we are doing a book awards, and anybody that's speaking at the expo was able to submit their book. And so we have actually 50 books up on our website with bios of the authors, information about the book, links to purchase if you want to, and voting. So you can vote for your favorite book. No purchase necessary. You don't have to buy anything to vote. You can just vote. And it's really cool. The all of our speakers, they're so good. They're so brilliant. And they've written these amazing books. And I'm just excited that we're able to, let everybody know. And I hope that people are going on there and reading the books and getting excited about seeing the authors as well, seeing them speak. So yeah, it's the first Conscious Life Expo Book Awards, and it will be the first in a long line. So I'm hoping that it's a big success. We've already had thousands of votes, so it's really exciting.
It's really exciting that. And they're not all new books, and they will be in the future. It doesn't have to be this year. It's right. If there's a book you love by one of the authors, it's probably there.
Exactly.
It's hard to vote for just one, but you have to vote for just one.
I get, as you guys can imagine, I probably get 5 to 10 books a week, right, sent to me from publishers, and I'm just reading as much as I can all the time, and I've got stacks of. Linda and I were. Oh, did I just slip up? Linda and I were talking earlier today about reading books, right? And that there is a certain thing that you get when you physically hold a book, right? I've got Patricia Corey on the show later on this week, and this is her new book. It's one thing to go and read it digitally or do it, but there you get something else, this tactile thing. And when I get as many books as I do, I'm here to tell you there is some amazing stuff being published right now. So to recognize these authors, and a lot of them are self-published now because it's so easy to do. You don't have to go to Penguin. You don't have to go to Simon & Schuster to go and get a book deal now. If you're an author and you are writing good stuff, you can self-publish right there on Amazon, and there is a lot of great stuff that is available these days.
Yep, totally.
So I'm waiting for our first special guest, who is active, right? But I'm not going to say who it is. We were ready 5 minutes ago. We were ready 5 minutes ago. You guys can see what's going on, right? Can you guys see below?
I can't see.
Oh, you can't see in the green room?
No.
Okay. Our first special guest is no, not you, Michael. I'll bring in Michael anyway. Here, I saw a little movement from our special guest. It's getting better. It's getting better. Okay, Kristine, I'm going to pull you out for bandwidth. Okay, so I'm going to move you backstage. And I am going to bring on our first special guest of the night, Linda Moulton Howe. Linda, how you doing? Oh, wait.
New Year for everybody. Fade to Black, Earth Files, everyone from here out to the ends of the universe. Let's try to make 2023 a more positive year than we have had for a while.
Now, I gave Linda a hard time today. First off, because Serena said I don't give Linda a hard enough time, and that I need to do that. But here's the thing: I gave Linda a hard because Linda and Serena, they're best friends. Yeah. These two share the fountain of youth every day. Every day, Linda is sending, and so I think they do some kind of ceremony together, and they're chugging back this fresh spring water from the fountain of youth, because the two of you absolutely look amazing. And Linda, please just send some of that cool, refreshing drink my way.
All right, I will try. And you keep hanging in there with your energy and your gusto that keeps us going. So the one thing, Jimmy, wouldn't you agree? This is 20 years of Conscious Life Expo. This will be the 21st. And I think back pre-COVID, this was a place where you felt like you were going on a vacation with a lot of friends who were really interested in UFOs, UAPs, souls, other dimensions, other frequencies, and that you can be in a hotel all in one place. You never have to leave, and be able to talk both before presentations, after presentations, and the great lunches and dinners. This is a reason for everybody who is now listening who may not have gone to Conscious Life Expo. It truly is one of the most fun conferences, I think, not just in the United States, but in the world.
Yeah. And Linda, you and I, each year at Conscious Life, we do 2, 3, 4 events together. Right. And I'm able to introduce you, and we do all these things, right? But this is, it's a privilege for me to watch the fans and the people that are here at the event for you, and the respect that you get. And I'm able to just kick back and feed off of that energy. But it's got to be amazing for you to know that so many people put that date on a calendar. Yeah. Right. It's special at every event, but it's even more special at the Conscious Life Expo, isn't it?
Right. It is. And I'm going to be concentrating on different facets of what I consider right now to be the most fascinating part of the whole UFO UAP mystery. And that is that we are in a very different universe than originally we have been taught. And that more and more papers and more scientists that I'm talking with and physicists, we are in a conscious universe, and that it is in one of several dimensions, and that the other dimensional concept is mathematical, not philosophical. And once you start studying and reading, and in my case, I will be sharing several new facets in my lecture and in the 2.5-hour intensive that I'm doing on Monday, which is the 13th of February. I'm speaking on Saturday and Sunday and Monday. We're doing panels, and I've got special lectures. But to do 2.5 hours in that intensive on that Monday, the 13th, the reason I think that it is becoming actually fascinating for me to prepare is that all of the concepts that were never filled in or filled out about us being in a holographic universe, more and more. I talked with a physicist 2 days ago who told me, he said, really, everything is beginning to stack up more and more about the holographic. And I said, but then that means that this universe would be projected from another dimension or another universe. And he said, that's true. That's right. And it affects everything, the way we have looked at the so-called beginning of the universe. And in some ways, it's actually closer to what Roger Penrose told me in 2018. Not a singularity, not a big bang, he said, but a constant cycling through an infinity of time, of not only matter as we know matter, but all of these other dimensional frequencies. The key to everything is frequencies. And that includes with the advanced civilizations of other extraterrestrials, which I sure hope in 2023 that we're finally going to get the crack in the thick ice of the first truth. We're not alone in this universe. It is filled with consciousness. And this is the discussion that we all have at Conscious Life Expo.
It doesn't stop.
LAX Hilton.
It doesn't stop. Last year, some pictures were posted of you and I, Linda, and I kind of joked about it, but it's really true. You and I sat up 2 nights in a row till 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And just talked. Now there
were other people. It was fascinating. The discussions I thought were getting more fascinating than they ever have been before.
Yeah. Now we cracked a couple of bottles of wine. I'm not saying.
Oh, if we didn't have wine at the LAX Hilton, it wouldn't be Conscious Life Expo.
It would not. And so when I posted those pictures, and others, there's other people there that were posting these pictures. And when I was telling everybody that picture was taken at 2:15. And
in the morning.
In the morning, not in the afternoon. No, that was 2:15 a.m.
Yeah, and for all of you listening, if you haven't been to Conscious Life Expo, that's why I said it's like going on a fun vacation.
That's what we do.
Best friends, and you have meals together and Q&A with each other, and it has always been a wonderful conference.
It's a family affair.
Yeah.
This is no joke. No. At 2:15, I got up. I said, Linda, I got to go to work in the morning. You guys were still there. I checked out at 2:15. I didn't want to, but I knew that Serena would be calling me at 7:30. Where are you?
Yeah.
She does it every year at 7:30.
Now, this is why I can't find Linda when I want to ask her to come to breakfast with me, because she stays up that late and I can't.
Right. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of sunrises I have seen with people at conferences. But Conscious Life is special because it's in that vertical Hilton, and you wouldn't even have to leave the hotel for 3 or 4 days.
You don't have to.
Everything goes up and down, and there are restaurants there, and the food is good, and the wine is good, and it's like a big rectangle in which everybody gets to have fun as well as be provoked by fascinating presentations.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Linda, and thank you for taking the time. But before you get out of here, there is a lot of stuff that's going on right now and a lot of stuff that is not going on. Now, so 2 things I wanted to ask you really quick, and I'm sure we'll be talking about this February 3rd at the LAX Hilton. But the UFO UAP report now is it's 4 months late. What do you see? What do you anticipate? Do you think that we'll get something before Conscious Life Expo?
Well, it was signed on December 23rd. And so all the controversial legislation about reducing penalties if you are, for example, in the military, and let's say that you are a major, and you have a UFO and an ET in front of you, and you are used to never talking because you're afraid that you're going to be punished if you tell any higher authority about what you've just experienced. What this new legislation does that did pass on December 23rd, it says the words that a person who goes to their higher superior authority is not going to be punished. And people have been punished in the past, which was crazy. And now what they're trying to do is make it easier for everyone to be reporting everything that they're experiencing up the chain without worrying about some kind of punishment or retribution. It will be interesting to see if it does have any effect on opening up a wider hose of whistleblowers coming forward. The problem is, until our government and other governments make it a world new unclassified reality, we are not alone in this universe. It is teeming with consciousness. We have to move that whole bar from where it has been denied to a brand new truth. And then all of this other, the kind of the backstory of people who have had all of these dramatic interactions in military and other service and in aerospace and medicine. There's lots and lots of different professionals who have had interactions with beings and with craft. That entire group, we'll call them the interactors instead of whistleblowers. They should be able to talk more freely. And with that, hopefully, it is going to open up the inertia going forward, that the whole world will begin to crack open all of it. And that's sort of the bind we're in right now, Jimmy. Even if these words are in the NDAA that Congress passed on December 23rd, it was as if nothing happened. And it was Chris Mellon who wrote in a tweet that it had passed. It was on December 23rd, but that it was as if it had never, ever been communicated to the American public.
Yeah, very strange. Hey,
Yeah.
Linda, I know you've got to run. Everybody, I'm going to give Linda
Trip over your tongue.
I'm going to give Linda the opportunity to give me the shortest answer she's ever had to a question, and it's this, Linda. On a scale of 1 to 100, you get to pick one number, one single answer to me. Scale of 1 to 100. Disclosure in 2023. 1 to 100.
75.
75. Linda Moulton Howe. Linda, thank you so much.
I love you guys.
You're the absolute very best. And we're going to be come and hang out with Linda and I in the lounge till 2 a.m. Conscious Life Expo. Linda, thank you so much, my friend. Behave. I know you've got a busy night in front of you. Thank you for taking the time and coming in with us tonight.
Thank you. And I love you, Serena.
Love you. See you soon.
Linda Moulton Howe, the best. Earth Files, earthfiles.com. Thank you so much, Linda. And we're just going to keep this going. All right. So, Kristine, you stay right there. And because guess who's in the batter's box? Guess who's coming in right now? Caroline Corey. Caroline Corey in the house. How are you? Is everything good? Oh, you've got yourself muted on your end.
Hey.
There you go.
Haven't you caught up with my telepathic messages here?
How you doing?
I am awesome. Hey, Serena.
Hello. Great to see you.
This is going to be great. Conscious Life Expo 2023 kicking off a new year. You're going to be there. You're coming right on the heels of an award-winning film that absolutely blew up everything this year. I know that you're working on other stuff right now. You never stop when it comes to production. But what are you going to be speaking about at Conscious Life this year?
Yeah, I am going to be talking about our extraterrestrial lineage. So, because so many people, I know that they're connected to some sort of Pleiadian consciousness or Arcturian consciousness or whatever, and so I want to clarify how this whole process works, share my personal experience in this whole field, but also help people figure out what is really their lineage, like, how do you know, are you just, downloading stuff from the Pleiadians just to help you, with your own life, or does it have something to do with your, like, who you really are? We all have a human lineage to appear human. Like right now I'm appearing human, right? But I may not be totally that. So how do you retrace back your individual unique lineage, and why it's so important? It is so important because that aspect of you knows everything about this aspect of you.
Well, how much of us is alien DNA, carried over for the last 500,000 years? Like Kristine, you can tell 100% alien. Later on, we're going to have Michael Satva coming in. He's 50%. He's 50% alien. You can look
What do you
at
think I am?
it, but how much of it is just naturally a part of us? Are we all a little bit alien?
It depends. I want to say 2/3 of the planet is more alien than human.
Right.
And the 1/3, everybody's kind of alien in the sense that even, you are a human, like from the human lineage from the beginning, but you are still kind of mixed with other more kind of local, like planetary type lineages. But the 2/3 that I'm talking about come from further away in the galaxy and beyond. So it's really, really fascinating.
Well, we're all stardust, right?
Yes, but even if you're stardust, you still have a DNA. That's what I'm going to talk about in the workshop.
Mm-hmm.
There are different types of stardust that appear as a type of intelligent life that is material. So, material beings can be human, but can also be other types. But then there's different types of stardust beings that do not materialize. They're now materializing just to come down here and help out and do something very specific, but they're not technically supposed to materialize. So there's all these types of ways of incarnating. Do you have to incarnate in physical form in order to evolve consciousness, so on and so forth? So it's fascinating to find out all of these details and to figure out, wait a minute, which one are you? And then what about your human family? Like, are they the same? Did you come in together? I can tell you right now, not necessarily. Also when you meet people for the first time, how you recognize lineages and stuff like that. It's just I think it's the most interesting because people want to know who they are, who they really are.
When channeling is something that fascinates me, but I don't think it starts and stops necessarily with channeling. I think that with entanglement and with what physics is showing us today, and that is the multiverse and multiple dimensions and parallel worlds and of course entanglement and what these ideas suggest to us is that we are connected all the time. And that there is something going on out there, and you don't have to necessarily, go into a full-on channeling session. That entanglement is allowing us to stay connected across the vastness of space, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I figured that out when I was 5 years old and I had that first experience of connecting to my lineage. And so you don't have to, I mean, at the age of 5 or as kids, you don't have time to learn channeling, you don't know about channeling. So that's the idea, to understand that our minds are all interconnected. Consciousness is non-local. It's interconnected with all aspects of life, with all other intelligent life. So the idea is, why are you specifically connecting, let's say, with the Pleiadian lineage right now? What is it? Why is it just for you to remember something? Is it just for you to pass on information? Are they just teaching you something? They just helping you? So, when you start to understand those details, it clarifies, first of all, why you're here. Like, why? Because again, the more you understand that, what I call the prenatal contract, that aspect of you, your original lineage, created this aspect for a specific purpose. So when you go back there, everything starts to make sense. It makes sense why I use this particular body, this particular language, this particular country, this particular line of work. And also it clarifies why you're not aligned with what you said you're going to do. That's why I feel it is such an important information that we need to awaken to at this time. So that's what I'm going to be helping with, assisting. And of course, Serena knows all my talks are always followed with experiential. So it's not just talking at you, but you get to feel and experience through a guided exercise that I will lead what you really are.
You know, sometimes at conferences, the Conscious Life, especially in the UFO panel, I sometimes see people that I'm really pretty much sure they must be ET.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. That's why I decided to talk about it, because, you know, everybody comes to me and say, well, could you tell me where I come from? Can you tell me, you know, what lineage I'm from? That's like such a typical answer question. So that's why I'm hoping to provide as many answers as possible.
Can I ask you the moment in A Tear in the Sky, which I've talked with you about so much over the last year, because it really moved me. I thought it was so profound. But have you considered, and I think that our government should be involved with us as well, and other scientists, about going the other direction? Right, something is coming through that to say hello to us. Right, that's right. That's really apparent. What about going the other way? We just had the announcement of a wormhole created in a lab last month, and that was a really big deal. And that certainly suggests a lot of things. That may be what happened over Catalina and what you captured. What about going the other way? If we catch a tear in the sky, is there a way for us to go?
Meaning us going through the wormhole the other way? Yeah, I mean, that's exactly, well, I mean, I don't want to divulge everything, but that's sort of the next chapter. Yeah, because, you know, the idea is, although, you know, just to kind of talk about what was created in the lab, it was actually a simulation of a wormhole. But regardless, we got to experience what it's like to, you know, what the wormhole would do. And so, yes, of course, if they're coming this way, then we should be able to go through it. And so the idea is, I'm in pre-production right now. And the follow-up is to try to figure out what would happen exactly if we were to go from here to there. What would happen? So that's exactly, you read my mind. You're so good. You're so good.
The door's right there, right? The door, it's right there. And when you first showed me that cut of the film last year, and I looked at that, it's cool. And my mind's blown. This is what I thought. Where's it going to? Where is it coming from? What's on the other end of that? Yeah. And that's what I want to know.
Yeah. And I don't know if I think I told you, but since the film, you know, we've continued to try to figure out what that thing is, you know, that wormhole thing. And so we keep asking other, you know, showing the raw footage. By the way, in the film, it is the raw footage, you know, it's just we're zooming in, but we're not doing anything to the footage. And so so we keep asking different scientists from different disciplines, and, you know, what do you think this is, and how is it possible? No one has any explanation. And so we're trying to get even more data. And finally, we thought we should maybe try to get some satellite images. And so we have been asking satellite, private sector, and governmental agencies for those satellite images, because we know exactly where it is, the time, the coordinates, and everything. And long story short, nobody can give us those images. So we had to file a FOIA request. And they came back and they told us, well, we are the official reconnaissance office, the geospatial agency of the United States. We do have all of the satellite images. However, the ones you want on that day, in that location, at that time, we cannot give you because they're exempt, meaning classified.
Of course they are. What? Did I look like I was getting excited? No. You know, when you have Today, this is the thing, Caroline, and I'm being very serious. Today, the government and whatever agency we're talking about, they're up against a lot now because private citizens have access. They have access to great equipment. They have access to each other. They have access to a real-time communication network and certainly sensors and telescopes and night vision. We have access to all of it. They're up against that, where now you can go, look, this is what we shot at this exact, and you've got the GPS, you've got everything, and this is what they never dealt with this before, right?
Exactly.
And, yeah. It's not that kind of party. You can't hold all the cards now and just sit on this data. We'll go and do the work ourselves.
Exactly. And you tell me, like, what is this satellite image going to show? What's so classified about that? Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, so then you start to wonder, I mean, really? Like, you know? So anyway, yeah, like you're saying, that's not going to stop us. That's not going to stop me. I'm like, I'm going, man. I'm going.
Kind of party anymore. It's not that kind of party.
Yeah.
You know, it made me think about, when I saw the movie, about pathways in the sky that are described in the Vedas. And they actually describe different kinds of constellations, and that there's one this way, there's one that way. And with the names, because, you know, they're Vedic astrology names of the different planets or the different constellations. So I wanted to look into that a little more and see which constellation was that. And is it one of the ones that's mentioned in the Vedas as being a pathway to other dimensions, other higher planets?
Well, physicists, ever since Einstein's field notes came out and the Einstein-Rosen bridge was suggested, and other physicists started to go in and look at the math, it has been suggested since then. Many, many physicists have looked at that and have postulated that, you know what, everything just may be a spider web of connections. Right, that exist out there naturally. We don't have to go and necessarily create them. We can do that too as well, but they may exist in our universe, like you're saying, Serena, in a natural sense, that they're already there. What I want the map. I want to unfold the map. Right? I want to see. I can go hop a ride. Caroline, I'm going to see you. We're all going to see you in a couple of weeks right here in Los Angeles, and it's going to be great. We'll break some bread and hang out. Thank you so much.
Definitely. It's going to be a blast. You guys need to check it out. Thanks so much. See you soon.
Thank you. And be safe in this crazy weather down there. Okay. All right.
Take care. Bye. Bye.
Caroline Corey. Thank you, Caroline. She is the absolute best. What a great director.
You know, she is on your Ancient Secrets panel, as well as my UFO panel.
I can't do a panel without Caroline Corey.
Yeah.
Come on, man. All right. Well, listen, let's take a break. And I don't know what you did, Kristine, but you look and sound great. I'm just kidding. I'm just going to tell you, we absolutely made sure that we would have the best show tonight, and so far so good. Serena, hands down, keep them on your lap.
Yeah,
we're going to break right here, and when we come back, we're going to be joined with Michael Satva is here with us too as well, another producer at Conscious Life Expo. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Stay with us. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Please visit all of our sponsors. We're taking a quick break here. All of the links are below. We'll be right back. Check out Billy Carson's Forbidden Knowledge. ForbiddenKnowledge.com or ForbiddenKnowledge.tv, where you can get access to over 6,000 videos, movies, TV series, exclusive documentaries like the Black Knight Satellite. You can do it all for just $7.77 per month or $77 per year after the 3-day trial, which is also totally free to check out. It's all simple to do. Billy Carson is the best. It's simple. ForbiddenKnowledge.com or ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's the number 4BK. I will be hosting and emceeing the Conscious Life Expo this February 10th through the 13th at the LAX Hilton right here in Los Angeles, California. 200 speakers, including Linda Moulton Howe, Bashar, Deborah King, George Norrie, Daniel Sheehan, Scott Walter Johnstone, and David Wolf. Over 200 vendors, special events. This is the biggest event of its kind on planet Earth. You've got to come and hang out with all of us. Tickets and info at consciouslifeexpo.com. The links are below. On Saturday, April 1st, that's right, April Fool's Day, 2023, I will be hosting the Parapod Festival at the Hyatt Regency right here in Valencia, California. It's a live one-day podcast awards. It's a film festival. It's a full-on media event. We're going to have sky watching. There's going to be a Lifetime Achievement Award presented to Linda Moulton Howe. Right now, you can submit your podcast, your film, your TV series, any of your paranormal media for consideration. You can do all of that on the links below. For info and tickets, go to parapodfilmfest.com. That's parapodfilmfest.com. April 7th through the 14th, 2023, I'll be hosting and presenting on the Hidden Secrets Seminar at Sea Cruise. From Los Angeles to the Mexican Riviera on the Navigator of the Seas. That's right, up top, a giant water slide. You've got to check out the Navigator of the Seas. It's amazing. We've got Scott Walter, Adam Apollo, Nick Pope, Brad Olson, Vivian Chauvet, Jason Shirka, Robert Grant, Ruben Langdon, and another 12 amazing speakers and presenters. It's all simple to do. Just visit divinetravels.com/Hidden Secrets 2023. You know you want to go on a cruise with me. River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com. All right. Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Everybody just got to see what I do during the breaks. This is Fade to Black. Tonight is our Conscious Life Expo 2023 special event. And we've got Serena Wright Tayler with us, of course. And we've got Kristine Augustyn. And I'm going to pull in, for the first time, to Fade to Black, the one and only Michael Satva is with us tonight. Michael, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, man.
Great.
We got you. This is the first time that we've had you on the show. I've known you for quite a while. We all have. And you've been, how do I say this? A mover and shaker behind the scenes with Conscious Life Expo for a very long time. I'm introducing you now to the world. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, sounds good. I'm ready to tell everybody what's going on. Yeah.
So I like some of the changes. I like them all, but some of these changes are pretty. We've got. Before I get to the vendor room, and I do want to focus on that because it's one of the highlights for me at the expo every year is just to walk through there. But we've got the rabbit hole this year, which is a part of the event. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So after the last 2 years of alternate reality everybody's been in, I feel like the rabbit hole is a way for us to really dive into all of the different alternate theories that have come out over the last 2 years about what happened to everybody, in a way that kind of gives a nod to how much censorship was going on, and even within our own organization, even with Serena's UFO people, it's down the rabbit hole as well. But I would say they're different rabbit holes, right? So it's just kind of a fun way to talk about just diving into like what's really happening, and what are our conspiracy theories, and just all the taboo language that has shown up around that, in a way that's fun and allows different opinions to be had, and in a way that's not political. Like, we're trying to keep it fun and interesting and about spirituality and about mysteries, rather than doing anything political. So
Well, here's
that's where it is.
yeah, and let me tell you why that is so cool. That our community is a pretty damn big umbrella.
Yeah,
Covers a lot of things. So you could be, somebody that is, you've got a copper pyramid over your bed that you sleep under every night, with crystals all over your room, and you're not necessarily looking at different things like Bigfoot or UFOs or abductions. It's not part of your thing, but you have an open mind, right?
Yeah.
And so when you go and start to look at certain things, and that includes, somebody from the UFO side of things or big, whatever it may be, but you start to look into crystals or consciousness, all of this stuff overlaps and feeds into, and so when you go down that rabbit hole, no matter who you are, what brings you to this community, you're going to find something, and you are not going to be able to get back out of it, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it all ties together in a really interesting way. I like to think of it as different niches that the Conscious Life Expo has, but that they all overlap and have ultimately the same goal and the same mission, which is to uncover hidden technology of spirituality. And the UFOs are all about that, with the 0 point energy, and the healers are all about that with Reiki and crystals. And then the ancient mysteries, they're all about that, uncovering what the hell the pyramids were really up to. So even with sacred geometry or orgone, it's all going to the same point, which is, what is this spiritual technology that may have existed before that's been lost? And like, how can we find it and make it happen again? So that's where you have a psychic or a channeler, or even the seances, and you have the UFO phenomena, and you have all of these things, or even crystal wands, and they all tie together with this spiritual technology that I think is really cool. And I think really that's really what is at the core of what we're trying to uncover here.
Now, and now here's the cool thing that I'm going to say to the audience right now. Michael, yeah, he certainly walks the walk. You heard everything that he just said. Michael handles the advertising. He's dealing with the clients and the business side of things with the Conscious Life Expo, but he's all about the crystals, right? He knows what's going on. And that's what I love about you, Michael. And that goes with everybody that works at Conscious Life Expo. You've got your feet firmly planted in this right here. And I love that part of you. But yet, you're the business side of things. And one of the coolest parts of the Conscious Life Expo, I think that there are quite a few ticket holders every year that only go for the vendor area. They don't step back outside of it.
Yeah.
They go for that vendor room, which is one of the most amazing, loud, boisterous places on all planet Earth at the LAX Hilton. Fun.
Yeah, and we're so excited because the exhibit hall is all filled up, and it's all booked out earlier than ever, and people are really excited to come, and we have so many new exhibitors that have really great things to offer, and there's just been a lot of excitement this year. I think people are really excited to come back to meet in person and find that community. And all the vendors are just really enthusiastic. So I'm really excited about that. And it's not just the vendors. We also have a room, a Tesla biocharging room. We have a meditation room with the Monroe Institute. we have all these new things coming that it's hard to fit it all on the homepage because there's so many events.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how do we fit it all? There's only so much. So,
is the Monroe Institute going to be doing a little remote viewing Q&A? Little assistance?
They have the meditation room, which they're going to be doing, the meditations from their app. I don't know if you know their app, but they have a super cool app. Oh yeah. And so they're going to be, people will have headphones on. And so that'll be the meditation room. Then there's also, they're doing a workshop, a lecture, and a post-conference event. So they're doing 3 different events.
Man, that's a really big deal.
I know. I was like, we
room
have
all
to
weekend too. It's all weekend. Yeah.
And they have a booth. They have a booth too. So they're like, we've got the Monroe Institute. They're all over it.
Man, that is so cool. I'm not kidding. I am not being cavalier. This is one of my highlights of the entire conference. And I know, you want me to say Expo's Got Talent, and that's cool, is to go into the vendor room. I turn left. Michael, this is my routine. I turn left, I go to the corner, and I just go down. I just go row for row, back and forth, and I visit every single booth in there and say hello to everybody. I never know what I'm going to see. It's just some of the coolest things that are there, first off, from the vendors, but it's the people that are at those booths too as well. It is just, it's right there. One of my favorite things to do.
That's where you meet all the cool people too. You every few steps you run into somebody else that you have to know everything about. I love the exhibitors, and I love all the people that go see the exhibitors. That's my place.
Some of my longest lasting friendships, right, at the expo are made right there in the vendor room, and it's no joke. And Sam has we all know Sam. Sam, you just got your plug. Sam is okay. So he's a great vendor, right? And I've got all of his necklaces and stuff. But then, do you remember 2 years ago, Expo's Got Talent, when he got up there on stage? Were you guys there for that? Okay,
I was. Yeah.
Who's feeding back? Who was it? Was that you, Michael?
No.
Okay. Wow. Wow, that was crazy. That must be the weather alarm outside. Sam got up and sang some Motown. I was like,
yeah.
I love this family. I absolutely do. I love it.
It's true. You can spend all day in the different exhibits.
Right.
And so I always suggest, plan your day, look at the program guide, even before you come. Look at the program on the website, decide which workshops you want to go to. And then, in between that, you can run around and see the different booths. And there's 2 big rooms downstairs. And of course, there's more booths upstairs and mezzanines. So they're all over.
And in the lower lobby, too.
Lower lobby as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and don't you have it in the rabbit hole? It's not straight. It's like a winding road, a winding lane in there.
Yeah, so this year we're trying to do something special for the rabbit hole area. It has its own vending area as well, with a different kind of more winding rabbit hole kind of vibe. We're going to have lighting down there. We're going to have pictures of rabbits. And we're going to
I love it.
It's down the escalator, so we're going to have a rabbit pointing down the escalator. You can follow the white rabbit down the escalator. And so, but what's really cool about that room is at the end of the day, when the workshops are over, we're going to break down the walls. And on Friday night, we're going to have David Palmer, DJ.
He told me about that. Yeah. Palmer's going to, man, I've got such a busy Friday night, but I've got to go down there and get my thing on with Michael Palmer. Michael, I want you to stay right there. Stay right there. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to bring you back. Kristine, you stay right there. I'm going to bring you back because right now I've got to make way. We've got to part the seas and bring in the one and only Paul Hynek is with us. Paul.
How do you do? Hi, Serena.
Oh man, absolutely, hands down, one of my favorite people in the world, man. Paul Hynek is with us. Paul, how you doing, my friend? How you doing with the weather out there?
You know, I see a couple of the houses in the neighborhood floating down the street, but so far I'm still moored to my foundation.
Man, I know that we can kind of laugh about it, but the weather out here right now is absolutely off the charts crazy. It's really nuts, and you're where you are. You are the dividing. You're on the edge of, the next stop north is Oxnard and Santa Barbara, which is, everything's being evacuated. You're on this side of the hill, the good side for right now.
I'm on the edge of reality.
Yeah, you are on the edge of reality. Oh man! Oh, and that's without the storm.
That's right.
All right. So, Paul, here we go. Another Conscious Life Expo, and I say this without jest that every time I see you at Conscious Life Expo, you're glowing. There's a bright ray of sunshine that follows you throughout the building. And that's why we love you, my man. What are you going to be speaking about this year?
More about consciousness. I think many of us who come to this, whether it's the crystals, as you mentioned a while ago, or UFOs or other phenomena, have come to feel that whatever we think, whatever our particular interest is, whether it's aliens or DMT or crystals or ghosts or anything else, they might all be the same underlying substrate, and we just perceive them in different ways. And it's a function of consciousness. So what I'm really interested in now is, can we demonstrate that these very different seeming phenomena may be related in some deep, dark way?
Can I talk about your dad for just a quick second? This is brief. But I have been reading and talking about a lot on the show his book from 1977, The UFO Report. And it seems to me in the book that he was kind of angry. He was a little bit pissed off about what was going on with things. Did he show that around that period? Was there something that he was just trying to get off of his chest and he wanted to publish it?
Yeah, he worked for more than 20 years with the Air Force. Even after Project Blue Book, he consulted with them. And that was an inherently frustrating exercise for a scientist, because that was not, as we all know, a bona fide scientific inquiry. It was a public relations exercise.
Right.
And the Air Force, they always grasp at some type of academic to give them some type of legitimacy. So he was their guy. He was the person that sort of gave enough legitimacy for the program to last that long. So he was very frustrated at that, because he was flown and met so many people in very compelling cases and wanted to investigate them further. And the Air Force would just say, oh no, weather balloon or something else. So he had this sort of pent up well of frustration with the government, at least that arm of the government, just really not taking the phenomena seriously.
Yeah. It's apparent in the book, but there's another part to that, which comes back to you and today.
His frustration with me? That's not in the book, thankfully.
It's my frustration with you is what I want. Is this, Paul, and I'm being very serious, that you read the book and then you realize that although this was written in 1977, it could have been published in 2023. The things that he was talking about back then, applying the science and what is going on and the size of the universe and the phenomena, the way that he writes about it there, it's exactly what we're dealing with today, isn't it?
Yeah, although I think he'd be gratified were he to see the state of the phenomena now. I think he'd like the fact that the Close Encounters classification system is still used and expanded upon. And the fact that people now, there was such a stigma, especially before the movie Close Encounters, to come forward and say that you'd had some type of encounter, some type of experience. There was so much stigma and trauma related to the public disclosure aspect of it. now people are so much more open and comfortable about talking about what may be the most traumatic or impactful experience they ever had. And I think he'd be very gratified to see that, as well as the far more open attitude of the United States military. You know, we have the Navy saying, hey, we see hundreds of these things. We don't know what to do, and we're concerned for the safety of our aviators. That's a 180-degree difference from the Air Force of my father's day, which kept saying, nothing to see here, please disperse.
Yeah, right. And the other part of this, when, you know, we're talking about the Conscious Life Expo tonight, but consciousness is the one thing that connects all of us. And if it connects all of us, whether on a scientific term or some awake, some kind of crystal connection with all of us, okay, we can deal with that. But ET must fully understand this too, right? They've got to have a consciousness world that they live in.
And that's how they pilot the ships, isn't it? Really, with their consciousness.
I would think so.
Mm-hmm.
Think of that as like the ultimate woke state.
Yeah.
Paul, I love you, man. But seriously, if we're pushing science in the direction of consciousness in that community is, you know, it's a train wreck that is going to happen. The two shall meet, but ET understands this.
Yeah, and, you know, I think we're getting to the point now where, I think it's a really good point that you made, that we're pushing science towards consciousness. It's no longer the government in the pole position here. Disclosure, okay, fine. I don't really care what the government says or does or deigns to disclose to us. We now have observational capabilities and networks outside the government. We don't need them to tell us what's going on. We don't need them to supply us with evidence. We have all that on our own. And more scientists. I mean, there was a Pew Research survey about 2 years ago that said about 51%, an overwhelming majority, 51%, of Americans believe that there has been life that's visited Earth. So we don't need the government. And it's also, as I mentioned, for individuals, it's a lot more comfortable to say they've seen something. It's also a lot more comfortable for scientists to be open about the phenomena now too, which I think is even more exciting.
So Gallup poll was released over the weekend. And also, in addition to that, and thank you for making that point, but 7% of Americans believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows.
Do they really?
I'm scared to ask if that's down or up from 20 years ago.
I know, right? And I read that, and I was, you know, so earlier today, I almost did that as my fader fact. And then I thought, man, I'm a little embarrassed that this number is an actual real number. But I have, as you know, Paul, I have scientists on the show all the time. And one of the points that I go at each one of them is, why does the science community have this fear of discussing consciousness? I mean, there's a fear there. And is it because they can't touch it and feel it? They know it exists. Yeah. You can't argue that point, but they can't measure it. So therefore, they're not going to waste their time. Why is it that?
Yeah, I think so. To go back to my father, you know, he was an astrophysicist. And here he is thrust by the Air Force into people's living rooms talking about a traumatic experience they had. He had to be touchy-feely and actually talk to people about a traumatic experience. He wasn't trained for that. And most scientists aren't trained for something as ineffable and ephemeral as consciousness. There's not even an agreed upon definition of what consciousness is, much less the ability to put some of it in a petri dish.
Before I let you go, and Paul, thank you so much on this crazy night of weather and everything else, but thank you for taking the time to come in and hang out with us. One last question, because you're going to be discussing all of this at the Conscious Life Expo. Do you feel that there's a little piece of consciousness inside of every particle of everything in the universe, or is consciousness something that exists outside of the physical?
Personally, I think it's the former. The more and more research that's done, the more we see how localized intelligence is. We've got the famous the photon spitting experiment and other things that show that there's consciousness embedded in the smallest unit possible. And they just discovered a new form of quantum entanglement. So, which I think is related to consciousness in a deep, profound way. So I think there's more and more evidence that shows that consciousness is, I don't know what even the word is, divisible or ever present in as small a particle as you can possibly imagine.
So when everything ends, whether it's your physical body or Earth gets hit by a comet, right? Does consciousness then depart the physical and then exist in its own energetic form out there in the vastness of space?
Yeah, I don't really presume to know, but I don't know if consciousness as we know it, as from our individual being, I don't know if that survives or not. I sure hope it does. I'm rather fond of my own, so I think most of us are, but I'm very careful to not readily believe things I want to be true. And that's a really nice thing to want to be true. I've not seen enough compelling evidence that our individual consciousness does persist, but I know we're about to wrap up. But I will say that in some of my adventures out there, I've gotten the feeling over and over again that it doesn't really matter if my individual consciousness survives. I've got glimpses of a universe in which it's all together, and I don't know how to describe it, but that there's a transcendence beyond the individual, I guess, such that whether or not there's a persistence of our individual consciousness begins to matter less to me.
The universe needs a floating ball of Paul Hynek energy for all of eternity to be raising havoc. Okay. And we can't deny the universe that.
When you were asking the last question, I thought it was going to be chicken or beef at the luncheon on Saturday.
Hey, Paul, you're the very best, man. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. I know we're neighbors and we don't hang out enough, but I'll see you in a couple of weeks at the Conscious Life Expo. Thank you for everything that you do, man.
I got to go up there and see those 49 guitars you got.
I'll talk to you, brother. Behave and be well, Paul.
Bye, Jim.
Paul Hynek. Thank you so much, Paul. And now we've got, and we're going to continue. We've got a very, very busy night here. And I'm waiting for our next rock star to come in. Paul Hynek, man.
That's great.
That?
He's going to be speaking Saturday morning. And I hope everyone will go to that because it's just amazing. You learn so much in listening to Paul Hynek.
Yeah, I wanted to bring in Michael really quick and do a sneak attack on him and see if he knows that he's on camera. Man, Michael, how cool is Paul Hynek, and to have somebody like him a part of Conscious Life each year?
I think it's great. I'm like always excited to hear any of the information coming out about consciousness. I think it's interesting how he was describing it because I think a lot of the transhumanism and a lot of the AI stuff is assuming that consciousness just appears when something's sufficiently intelligent enough. And I personally have a hard time with that. So I hear what he's saying, but I think that consciousness does come from somewhere else, and that there is consciousness in every atom in existence, but whatever we have is we have a soul. We have something that comes into the body from another dimension or wherever, rather than just consciousness being innate to the biology.
Okay. The short answer to that, coming from me, is yes, right? But here's the bottom line: nobody knows nothing.
Nobody knows. Yeah,
Nobody knows.
That's
Nobody
the whole
knows.
point.
Yeah,
We're all seekers and questioning together.
man, we talk to the biggest minds out there, whether it's from the spiritual community, go to the Dalai Lama, I don't care, go to that extreme, or go to the other extreme and talk to Michio Kaku or Sean Carroll or Paul, Brian Greene. It doesn't matter. You go to these big minds and they're all going to tell you, I don't know. I don't know. And when you get their ideas, their theories behind this, your ideas, Michael, yours, Serena, yours, Kristine, mine. Let's listen to everybody. And somebody like Paul, who can come along and speak at an academic level. He's a college professor, and his DNA, he's the son, right? Alan Hynek. And so that he comes from a mindset of logic, right? Of being objective, educated, but he's got this spiritual side of him too as well. And he comes to the community and speaks, and we have that. Right, we've got somebody like Paul in our corner to help us through this journey, and I think it's just great. And the other thing is, I'm serious. So, Paul, I invite anybody listening, go up to Paul at Conscious Life and introduce yourself, and then try to match wits with his humor. It's
Yeah.
He's so funny and he's so dry, and you just don't know.
So funny.
Yeah, he's the absolute very best, man. So there you go. Now, I wanted to. So what we didn't discuss, and I wanted to get all three of us can get involved with this. We've got the George Norrie Forum this year again. One of the big events of the entire weekend. Serena, what's going on with that this year?
Yeah, that's at noon on Saturday. And we have speakers from all different parts of the expo, UFOs, of course, included, and ancient mysteries included. I haven't got the list in front of me, but everyone will really enjoy it because we're going to discuss the future, in different ways. And when I say that, I don't just mean, psychically, but that can be included as well. It can be the spiritual, the what's going to be disclosed on the UFO field, and even bringing what's going to be discovered or has been discovered in other ways that's going to come out more in the coming years. And just like you were saying, talking about consciousness, I mean, that can be part of it as well. And healing, new ways of healing. Oh, there it is. Michael's holding up the page. That's great.
Oh, man. Good job, Michael. That's awesome.
And you'll notice Scott Walter's on that as well. And I just wanted to mention that Scott and Janet Walter are coming, and because we didn't talk about that earlier. And he is the host of America Unearthed. And many people listening may have been watching that show before, but you can find it and see it. And, it was funny. I'll tell you how, when I first saw that show was on, I thought, oh, well, it's history, it's interesting, but it doesn't talk about ancient aliens like like the other shows do. And so, but he does talk about that, and he's actually got geological proof that in ancient times that ETs have, not interfered, but helped us in some ways, being present on this planet, and that's through to his geological proof. So all these things, and he's going to talk about that. And also his wife, Janet, is also an explorer and investigator.
Yeah, I'm sorry. She's actually speaking, right?
Yes. Yeah. In the post-conference, they're both going to do it. And she has a book as well.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting book. So we're so happy that they're coming back.
Now, check this out. It almost sounds like I'm making this up. But this year, Conscious Life Expo, we've got Linda Moulton Howe, we've got Bashar, we've got Deborah King, of course, George Norrie, Danny Sheehan, we've got Johnny Enoch is taking time. This is the thing about Johnny Enoch. He's always winging it over to England to hang out with Mick and the boys, for lunch, and then, heading to Egypt and then back to Budapest. And then sometimes he'll he'll stop by the United States, but he's always private jetting it all around the world. But we got Johnny Enoch this year. We've got Scott Walter. We've got Sarah Breskman Cosme. Right, we've got Del Bigtree again back this year. David Wolf at Conscious Life Expo. Foster Gamble is going to be there this year. Laura Eisenhower is back. Brad Olson, of course. Caroline Corey was just on with us earlier. Sasha Stone is going to be causing trouble at the Conscious Life Expo this time around. And Adam Apollo is going to be there. Jason Shurka is going to be there. Paul Hynek, of course, who was just with us. Sean Stone is back this year. Miss him. Frank Jacob. I haven't seen Frank in years, and Frank is going to be back with us. I could go on and on. Rick Levine, right? Rick Levine causing trouble. Maureen St. Germain is going to be there. Matthew LaCroix, Danian Brinkley. It's just absolutely Kimberly Meredith. One of my favorite people in the world is going to be there. And of course, Gail Thackeray. And that is there's 200 speakers, right? And that's this is memory, right? That's what the Conscious Life Expo is about. It sounds like I'm just making it up. I'm not. That is just a part of the lineup for 2023.
And I'd love to mention there's a bunch of new up and coming talent too coming in fresh this year. And they're just amazing people. There's this one, Riz Mirza is coming, and he's awesome. Mm-hmm. Elizabeth April is also new, and she's going to be amazing. Stargirl, the Practical Witch.
I want to check her out too. As well. Yeah. I'm going to check her.
So there's a lot of new talent that is coming, and it's going to be really exciting to see.
Now, I made a deal with Johnny Enoch, and Johnny and I are going to live stream the both of us having a Kundalini awakening.
There you go.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Kristine's like, yeah, I want to watch that.
Yeah, totally. I'm in.
Well, I forgot we have a Kundalini activation room too.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to live stream from there. Johnny Enoch and I are going. We're going to do.
I imagine that being very purple, that room.
Oh man, Johnny, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good, but I mean, not as good as it will be in that Kundalini awakening with you. God, good Lord, you got me involved in that, Jimmy.
Yeah, man, live streaming. But this is, but the both of us, when we do this, we have to wear an NBA uniform.
Is this a Lakers Kundalini event? I don't know. What's going on there? This sounds very interesting, though. I mean, I thought this was going to be an amazing event before, 200 speakers and all the incredible people that are there. But now, Jimmy, I've always said to myself, every time I see you, you light up all my chakras.
Yeah, let's find the 8th chakra. That's what we're going to do. Let's find the 8th chakra.
That's one of our vendors, 8th Chakra Studio.
Yeah, it's mythical. It's mythical. Yeah. I think Indiana Jones was going to do that movie.
The 8th chakra.
Yeah, the 8th chakra.
He already did. Wasn't that called the Temple of Doom?
Yes, it was. Oh man, Johnny, how you doing, man? You're back in the United States for a minute, and
I'm doing good, man. I just was battling some really severe jet lag and a couple other things, but now things are back to normal. I'm feeling great. It's good to see your great faces, and I can't wait for this conference. It's going to be so amazing to see all of you there.
And Johnny, you travel the world all year. That's what you do, right? You're out there figuring stuff out. But then you turn around and you bring that knowledge to us. What are you going to be speaking about? You've got the keynote event. You've got some back-to-back things that we're going to be doing together Friday night. What are you going to be speaking about?
Well, this particular talk I'm going to be speaking on is very important. It's very special. It took a lot of work to put everything together. It literally is an accumulation of a lot of my travels. And I have various people contact me at various times, and sometimes you get people that are very special. And I had this one particular gentleman that told me he was dying of cancer, and he said he was in Pennsylvania. He and his friend, they were in Pittsburgh. So I flew out to see him because he said he had been involved with the extraction of a Stargate that was over in Babylon. And all these folks, they had various pieces of evidence and ideas, and he had an extraordinary thing he wanted to tell me. He said, did you know that what we took from this particular place, when I went and met with him, we flew over to Pittsburgh and drove out to see him. He said that we moved the parts for this over to CERN, and people don't know that. They were actually operating a secret operation at CERN. And I thought, well, I thought they were just trying to find subatomic particles, quarks, neutrinos, hadrons, leptons, and all that kind of good stuff over at CERN. Mm-hmm. And so this presentation really is an accumulation of looking at the ancient writings about time, about moving out into other dimensions and stargates, and what the actual evidence tells us, and if there has been a cover-up about it.
Wait, okay. So if I'm understanding you correctly, did this come from? You said Babylon, Iraq?
Well, yeah. When we go over into these particular areas, let's say when you move up into all those areas of Iraq or near Iran, we go to the ancient city of Ur. It's actually 370 kilometers southeast of Baghdad, if you know where that is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so but the Stargate was there though, Babylon, right?
Allegedly, that's where the one that was extracted. Now, here's the interesting thing: when I happened to go out there to meet this gentleman, I had Daniel Brinkley, of all people, tagging along with me, because I figured, if we're going into a dangerous situation, if we're going to die, well, he's already died a few times, so we're okay. But people don't know this. People don't know this. And it's funny because I've told you this before. When Daniel and I are traveling together, we actually play practical jokes on each other, and he'll do things to me, and I'll tell him sometimes, I hope you get struck by lightning again. But we always have fun with each other, right? But actually, what's really interesting about that is that people don't know that in Daniel's experiences is in special forces and other things that he's done, he was actually positioned over in those areas. And before we raided Iraq, he went over there with a camera for the government, and he had to take pictures of everything. So in my presentation, I even have photos that he took doing reconnaissance of those particular areas. And when I was interviewing these gentlemen, he had direct experience in these military programs, and he helped ask questions with them.
So this is crazy. So this is your presentation on Friday night. I don't want to take away from the presentation. I haven't seen the presentation. Therefore,
you better be there.
I'm going to be there. Of course. We're going to be in the same room together. There's no way I'm going to leave.
I might have a Kundalini awakening just with you in the same room.
If it's a Stargate from Mesopotamia being taken to CERN, that's the 8th chakra right there. So, but Johnny, all seriousness, what do we have an idea of what year that these components were spirited out of Babylon, Iraq, and over to Switzerland?
It's kind of funny that we'll get into that during the presentation, but it's actually funny. They were making discoveries in even 1850 in Iraq of certain stargates and parts. I will give you more specifics when we're at the particular talk about CERN. But if you think about this, if you think about our universe essentially starts with an atom of hydrogen, and then you add a proton and electron. Think about what those folks could be doing there. Think about, could they be trying to reset the state of everything? If they actually were trying to reset everything back to the beginning, what are they really doing there? Have you ever looked? What is that Shiva that we have in front of there? Have you ever looked at the strange reports that you get out of there?
Let me tell you something. I saw the parade, the celebration of the opening of that. That is one, you know what? Out of every, and it's real too. That's the thing. You almost, want to believe that what you are looking at is some Hollywood science fiction, Stanley Kubrick, Eyes Wide Shut situation, when it turns out it was the opening ceremony.
It is. It's weird. Even Elon Musk shared weird stuff about that. But in this presentation, I'm going to take you on an adventure around the world. I'm going to take you on the latest adventures that Timothy Hogan and I did over in Egypt, looking at various glyphs and areas that weren't open to the public. We snuck in there, of course. We snuck into a few places and bribed off the guards, and we got a lot of footage and pictures and things that people have never seen of hidden stargates. I mean, really, when you look at how time works and how our world works, it really makes you think about our own existence. Let me ask you something, Jimmy. Have you ever heard the worst curse that you could ever find in the ancient Chinese and the Sanskrit? It reads something on the lines of, may you be reborn with the blessing of the gods in eternal life and have all your pleasures and satisfactions given to you forever. Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah, I dated her in 1983.
Well, here's the thing. When we look at how our world works and this construct of time and all these things that the Egyptians and the ancients knew, they knew that time is a sentient existence because we're self-aware. We have a linear progression. It continues on and against us and with us. So let me just ask you this, Jimmy. If you and I were able to go to another universe, create another universe right now, and we go to the nano world with quantum constructs with, let's say, 4 or 5 molecules, so there's no time. Let's say you can have all the pleasures and happiness and fun and everything you wanted forever and ever. 10 billion years to you would be no longer than a second. Don't you think you'd get bored? And the reason I'm asking you this is because when we look at what these ancient people knew, they knew how to cross the boundaries of time space. They knew about these ancient secrets of consciousness. There are deeper secrets there waiting to be explored. And that's the fun part about going down the rabbit hole. And that's the fun part about what we're doing at the Conscious Life Expo. We are exploring consciousness.
So here's the deal. I can't even touch that. I can't even touch that.
Like an MC Hammer song.
Yeah. Visions of the Sunset Strip in 1984 were coming back to me. But but Johnny, here's the point with all of that. The strangeness on this planet started to kick off once the CERN power switches were engaged. Right,
Exactly.
a lot of weird things were going on at the same time, and I would think that when you are trying to create antimatter, right, when you're trying to create mini black holes, when you're trying to understand time, but you're just going at it willy nilly, right? That strange things, and suddenly we have the Mandela effect, and we have these weird things that seem to be appearing around the world, and entities and strangeness. Did we open up a portal to another dimension and allowed things through here that we didn't understand or could necessarily control or get them back? And that, I think that CERN had a big part of all of that, because you just look at the timing of it, and then the strangeness kicked off.
I believe so, Jimmy. And I also believe when we look at our ancient cultures, and that's why we are going to explore, I want to take it back into the Anunnaki and talk about that in my presentation as well, because I believe that when we look at what we call Atlantis, and there's many ancient civilizations and prehistoric stories we find like that, we find a connection to the Babylonians, and we find a connection to the Egyptians. The Egyptians talked about a place called the underworld. Or you could call it the Duat, that they could go to, and they could traverse through these doors or lentils. To the Babylonians, they called it the plain of Charon, and they believed that there was a way to get there. And in some cases, they said that we could enter into these other places using a white powder of gold. Maybe in recent years, people have called it orbitally rearranged monoatomic elements, monoatomic gold, and all these sort of fancy names that we give to it. Today, we call it exotic states of matter and various things. Billy Carson eats this stuff like candy. You can go on his website and get some, actually. But the truth be told, that they had a way of upgrading the bioelectrical fields of the body and be able to move through places of great power and energy on this planet with resonance that would activate it. And I think that we're trying to use technological means to open it up. Do you remember? You remember when Obama had first become president, and then he went over and didn't he win a Nobel Prize?
Mm-hmm.
He was president.
Yes, of course he was president.
That's the Mandela effect. In your world, he was.
Well,
but
the
here,
current guy doesn't even know if he's president. But here's the thing.
Exactly.
I'm not American. I'm Canadian, so actually Hungarian now, so I can get away with that joke. But here's the thing: when Obama was president, he was winning his Nobel Prize. Look above Obama. See what you see in the sky, whether that's scalar or what. Something very particular opened up above him. Someone's letting you know something. We have means of opening things up. There's all sorts of ways of opening doors and what that means. And we will explore that. You know, the Einstein Rosen bridge. We'll look at different types of means of entanglements and sciences. This is going to be a fascinating presentation. And I urge everybody out there that's interested in incredibly fascinating subjects like this to come, because there'll be many things you've never heard before.
Hey, Johnny, you're the absolute best, man. And
you're the best.
No. I'm smoke and mirrors. You're the real deal. And seriously, I just appreciate everything that you do. And,
thank you, my brother.
And all of us here are excited to have you at the Conscious Life Expo. And on Friday night, you're going to be a busy guy. You're going to be hanging out with me. I'm going to be hanging out with you, and we're gonna rock
a Kundalini awakening.
I think that's on Saturday. Do you really want to do that in front of everybody on Friday? You want to do 2? Can we do 2 of those in one weekend?
Well, I don't know. I think you sound very talented. So we will. I don't know where you got that.
You know what's funny? I just tripped up Johnny Enoch, and it's an impossible thing to do, but we did it on a live stream. Hey, Johnny, thank you for everything, my friend, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks right down here in Los Angeles, and we're going to knock it out of the park together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. I can't wait to see you all, and Serena, good to see you, and all of you, and I'll talk to you all soon.
Johnny Enoch,
Johnny.
my man, Johnny.
I love
him. He's the best. He's the absolute best, and this is just going to be one of those years. And you know what the sad thing is, as we move along, and Sunday night's going to happen, and you get that thing, that forlorn feeling that, man, this amazing weekend is going to come to a close, but we're going to experience all of that together. So everybody just come down and hang out with all of us. Before we get out of here, Michael, any last words on the event?
I'm just really excited that it's moving forward, and we have so many people booked, and it's just pretty amazing. Like you said, you could say names all night and we still wouldn't say everybody speaking, because not only is it all the keynotes, but it's also all the lectures and special events. There's just so much going on. So, just really excited.
Thank you so much, Michael, and for everything that you do. The amount of work, you're the glue of this event. So just thank you, and I'm just so happy that you got to come on tonight and meet everybody. Thank you so much. Michael Satva. Thank you, Michael. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much. And before we get out of here, Kristine, holy mackerel, right?
Right? Yes, exactly.
Every year, we're a team and we work together. But it's the same thing. We lead into this. We work all year long. This is not something that just happens in a month. This is 11 months in the making, but we always get to this point, don't we? Oh, man, it's here.
I know.
Are you ready?
You just made me sad when you started to talk about Sunday night. I was like, oh, shoot, wait. I'm not ready for Sunday night. I'm ready for Friday, The opening ceremony, I am not ready for Sunday night.
I got to prepare myself for that mentally every single year. I've got to. You know, it's go. I get there Thursday night along with everybody else, right? I get there Thursday night, excited, right? I wrap Fade to Black and I jump, you know, and I'm going to Conscious Life Expo. Get there and set up and get everything going. But I am already thinking about the fun that's going to be there this weekend. But I got to get ready. I got to get ready for Sunday night because you just can't roll into Sunday night going, oh, it's over.
Wait, what happened?
No, it doesn't work that way. Are you ready though, Kristine? Is there anything left on the table that you haven't gotten done yet?
Yeah, like 400,000 things, but it's gonna all be done by the time we get there. That's the fun of it.
It's going to be amazing. And Kristine, thank you so much. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Yeah. We talk all the time. That's fine. But I can't wait to come down and hang out and touch that cloth. I'll see you guys. Bye, Kristine.
Bye. Thank you. Bye, Serena.
Bye. See you tomorrow. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
She's the absolute
we talk every day. She's so great. Yeah, we talk every day, obviously, about the different things. Or we texting the whole time? And yeah, there's still a lot to do. I got a lot to do, but it's more of the fun things now, preparing the panels and the introductions and things like that. And of course, there is post-con on Monday. So the end is gradual. It's not like sudden. There is post-conference on Monday, and I really want to encourage everyone to come to that because, you know, you're sure that one of your favorite speakers is speaking. And then you can maybe go to more than one. It's 2.5 hours each and have lunch at the Hilton and go to someone else. Linda's the last one on Monday night this time, 8:00. And by the way, you know, me and Linda usually get a day after to go and do something fun.
The one thing before I let you go, the one thing about the Conscious Life Expo is it's very inexpensive. It's not like now, if you go and you do every possible thing that is there to do, that's one thing. But if you just want to go and hang out and just get a day pass or for the weekend, it's very inexpensive. And there is so much free stuff. Just go and do it. It's great for yourself or a few people or your entire family, and you can come down and hang out.
And there's different kinds of tickets. You know, there's VIP. You can stay in the hotel and have that included at a special price. And we didn't talk about the VIP lounge. Actually, it's going to be a big lounge with snacks in there, coffee in there for VIPs. And you can go in there in between, and speakers are invited in there too.
Really?
And so you can chat with someone.
Kristine's going to make me buy a ticket for that.
No.
Kristine's at the door. Nah, church.
You're an automatic VIP.
Thank you so much, Serena.
Thank you.
A bright ray of sunshine, and you just make everything special in our world. And just thank you for that. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Give my best.
Yes, I will.
You guys stay safe in this crazy weather. Thank you so much, Serena.
Yeah, thank you. It was a great show. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Serena, the absolute very best. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see everybody tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we got a very special show. I've got a friend of mine, a psychic medium, who I've been talking about for a while. Amy Kristine is going to be with me live in the studio tomorrow night, right here in my haunted house. That's right. So I'll see everybody tomorrow night. That's going to be great. Fade to Black. It's produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Kevin. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJ Sierra, the Game Changer Network, and this broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2023 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Until tomorrow night with Amy Kristine, live right here in studio. I want everybody to be safe. Go back, Lee Tappy.